along, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiro Dadia. We have with us Mr. Dhaval Ajmera, Director at Ajmera Realty and Infra, joining in. Welcome to the show, Dhaval, and always a pleasure to speak to you as well. Dhaval, a fantastic quarter also that we've seen in terms of where fourth quarter goes. We've almost, we could say more than doubled the total income in the fourth quarter. Firstly, if you could just help us understand what is it that has led to this kind of a growth in terms of the top line?
Thank you, Hira, for inviting me, and it is always a pleasure to interact with you. So good afternoon, everyone. It's been a very exciting year for we at Ajmera's, as we've been looking at the growth path and, moving towards our target. Internally, as I told you, we're looking at a 5x growth within our company in the coming few years, within the next 3 to 5 years. So these are like one of the stepping stones towards, that journey. And as per our business plan and as per our strategy, we've been launching projects slowly and steadily as what we've planned, and looking at that sales velocity and volume, the market has been good. COVID has, as I told earlier, has really led to the importance of home buying. People have been very, very receptive about investment in real estate as an asset class. And last year or last quarter, I would say it was just the tipping edge towards the cost. In terms of input costs, obviously they were rising, but interest costs for home loans and also stamp duty, which was specifically in Maharashtra, which was under say 5%, actually made the momentum going.
So, Dhaval, taking this into consideration, would it be fair to say that the real estate sector in India is showing significant improvement quarter on quarter in FY22?
Yes, I would say the demand for real estate has been steadily increasing over the last few quarters, and that has also been evident with the kind of numbers which we see in terms of sales registration and stamp duty being paid. However, we also would like to say over the last 1 quarter, there has been also a lot of pressure in terms of the input cost rise. And also now with the inflation being higher, the pressure on interest rates is also getting streamed up, which we hope the government does not put a lot of pressure on home loans and the interest rates, at least on home loans, because that pressure would be a little going in a negative trajectory to see the sales momentum, which is up over the last so many quarters going on a steady rise, probably would probably see a slight dip or the momentum going a little lower, because what we see is the demand for homes has been very good. People are actually wanting to buy homes, but obviously such kind of pressures coming will take a little bit of jolt to the buyer and the seller as well. But however, if the government becomes proactive and does not really put the pressure of interest on the home loans, I think this momentum will still continue.
Okay, so clearly right now we've already seen a 40 basis point rate hike. Another couple of points is something which is anticipated as well, taking the inflation, the growth into consideration. But do you think, what's your view? Do you think that the government is going to put a pause, or if they don't put a pause, how badly do you think it would hit the sector?
Well, I see the rise in interest rate is inevitable. It's going to happen. Now, how much it happens as compared to what the repo rate is increasing is something which we need to see. My sense is the government would increase the hike, but I don't think it will be proportionate to the hike of the overall interest rate. That is what my sense is. If that is done, it will be taken as a positive sign, because my personal belief, and not because I'm a developer, but I personally see real estate is a backbone for 270 other industries, which supports employment. Is the second largest employer after agriculture. So I think that's very important for the economy to run. So if probably a marginal hit in the interest rates for home loans is taken into consideration, overall we will see a good growth. And even now we are seeing demand coming, even though with the last 2 months, if I see the interest rates have gone a bit higher, if
Hmm.
I see the stamp duty also being increased in Mumbai, MMR, primarily if I look at Maharashtra, that has also increased, but still there has been a steady rise. The
Hmm.
growth in sales have been good, but I think for it to overall sustain, we need this push going for it to happen, and that will be the real thing. So overall, the demand is there. Maybe we will see a little bit slowdown here and there, but I think in a long run, if I have to look at a 2 year tenure or a 3 year tenure, we are seeing good demands coming.
Right. And overall, if you see in terms of project launches as well, what's that looking like? Because earlier when we spoke, we were looking at almost six projects during FY23 and 24 with a potential revenue of almost 4,000 odd crores. Where are we on that?
So that plan is very much in the pipeline. If I have to say, one of the biggest projects of us in Vadala, Ajmera, Manhattan, which was part of our 4,000 crore top line, has already been launched, and we are seeing a good response in terms of sales. The ticket size of those projects, of those flats, are 2.5 crores plus, and we are seeing a good trajectory coming in the sales volume over the last 2 months from the time we launched. We are looking at total 7 projects coming, six in Bombay, one in Pune, and out of the six, we are planning to launch at least 3 to 4 this year. One already being launched, two or three more which is coming up in the pipeline. If you primarily more into the central parts of Mumbai, and one in the western part,
Mm.
which will be launched, and we're looking very immediate launch of a Juhu project, which we've already signed up. Premiums have been paid. It's a redevelopment project. The tenants have vacated, and the building is under demolition, which we will start construction as early as next month.
Right. And overall, in terms of funding of all of these projects that we're talking of, what's the portion of that will be funded through internal accruals? What will be through bank funding, and how much will be through sales advances?
So, if I have to look at, we are looking at minimal bank support because the sales has been good, and our team is very geared up to look at
Mm.
sales as the primary source of funding. But that does not mean we don't have a backup to really look at our. We have for I would say like an insurance purpose, tied up with banks for just so that we don't stop anywhere for our construction purposes. We will continue with our with our construction, whether sales happening or not. But the momentum and the pricing which we keep is just right, which gives us the great momentum in terms of sales, which continues with our the overall growth. So
Mm.
Manhattan project which we launched, we've done the tie-up because we needed to make a payment of premiums, which was upfront, which has already been done, and thereby overall, all these projects which we are going to launch now is, a lot of them, primarily the premiums for the same have been paid. And overall, if I look at, we've saved about 200 crores in our, roughly give or take, in our project costs by paying this premium upfront, because of the premium benefit which was applicable up until last year. That gave us this benefit, and we've paid up, and now the projects are gearing up for launches.
Okay. And overall, if you see in terms of the plans ahead, is there any plan with regards to inorganic growth through acquisitions or, a joint development of any sorts?
So, as a part of our growth strategy, Hiral, we are beyond this 4,000 crores of new launches, and about 1,000 odd crores of our existing projects revenue coming in. We are expecting 5,000 odd crores coming in the next 3 to 4 years time from these projects, which is giving us a total about 2.8, a total about 2.8 million square feet of new project launches. And existing, which we are currently doing, is about 3.9 million square feet, where a lot of it has already been completed or just about to get complete. So these together give us a 5,000 odd crore revenue. Beyond this, our growth plan is to continue with inorganic growth, as you said, by partnering with the landowners, partnering with society redevelopment, and also looking at SRA projects and MHADA redevelopment. I think in Bombay, these are the only four avenues today which are left for potential development in Mumbai, and we are aggressively planning and in discussions with many of them to actually launch a few more, or probably tie up with few more in the coming quarters.
Right. And with all of this said and done, how is the market looking like for real estate versus the commercial side of it now?
So you mean residential versus commercial, is it?
Correct, correct.
So I think it's a mixed bag. So I'll just give you one of the examples of our project in Ajmera Sikova, which is currently where we are developing as a commercial project in Ghatkopar in the central suburbs of Mumbai. Despite of this work from home phenomena, and probably there might be a little bit of a dip in the commercial sales, we have actually managed to see a great traction coming in the commercial arena, and we have seen a good number of sales happening over the last 1 year. And out of, just to give you roughly about 400 odd units, we've already sold 280 plus in this project, where the construction is underway. We finished the tower top out, we finished the construction of the RCC work, and the handover probably would be by first quarter next year. But still, there is a good demand coming up. Similarly, in Bangalore, we've just managed to finish roughly about 1.5 lakh square feet of commercial project, which we will be ready and giving OC by this second quarter of this year. And we are now seeing that a lot of demand coming in over there. So overall, I think it's a mixed baggage of requirement for commercial and residential. While residential is moving at a steady pace, but I think commercial is also gearing up, and there has been a good inherent demand coming for offices, whether it is a small space or a big space.
Okay. And what does that mean in terms of growth? Are we seeing that, okay, the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be growth that would come for the real estate space from the residential market versus the commercial space?
Well, it depends on every developer's portfolio. But if I look at Ajmera, I think overall, if I have to look at the macro level for India per se, breaking it down to Maharashtra and Mumbai, I think overall India has a good growth story going towards the $5 trillion economy, and that story is being bought by a lot of FIIs, a lot of investors, a lot of manufacturing units coming in, development coming in. So overall, there has been a good growth story, and India looks at a commanding position at least for the next 5 to 7 years time. With that coming in, we are seeing a lot of commercial projects also being, because real estate and commercial will pick up, because everyone would require offices or warehouses or logistics, or whatever it takes to grow their businesses. So I think commercial demand in the overall Indian market is in a positive sign. And with, if I have to speak Mumbai, where we primarily do a lot of development, Bombay is being seen as a good growing. While over the last 10-15 years, we've seen Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, NCR being growth in commercial with that kind of IT parks, or the commercial areas coming in. I think Bombay is now picking up, and primarily this being because of the infrastructure which the city is developing, in terms of metro lines, in terms of the postal road, in terms of the Nhava Sheva ceiling. I think the connectivity within Bombay with MMR is becoming so phenomenal that this will actually give a rise to a lot of commercial and residential development all across Mumbai and MMR. And that's where I see commercial development and residential development being good in the next at least 5 to 7 years in Mumbai per se.
Right. So overall, very lastly, Dhaval, in terms of the price trend, what is that looking like? Because clearly we are seeing input price cost pressure that is coming in. Plus, if you see in terms of cost of finance, that is expected to go up. So are we expecting a price rise?
Well, definitely a price hike has already taken place in majority of the projects, I would say, even in ours and in others. Because of the last one quarter, there has been, last entire year, there was a price hike which was happening slowly and steadily in the input cost, be it steel, cement, other raw materials. But that was being, because the hike was not that steep, it was slowly and steadily being absorbed in the sales price. But over the last 1 quarter, we have seen an exponentially high rise in steel. Thankfully, which has come down. Normally the steel was 40, 45 rupees a kilo, had gone as high as 90 rupees a kilo, which thankfully now, right now, is also at 60, 65 rupees to 70, depends on wherever, whatever it is. But you still see there has been a hike. So inevitably, there has been a great, the overall cost of input has increased. And that is something which is unsustainable in terms of margins, in terms of the project growth and development of a project. So I think prices are on a hike, but I think if from here, looking, if I have to look at the overall sentiments of the economy and real estate demand, I think from here, I don't think every time the price hike can be sustained and this will bring the demand down. So overall, I think there has to be a steady growth. I think the prices needs to be lowered a bit. At the same time, I'm sure developers want to see a lot of volumes coming in their way and sales happening. So I don't think there are many who want to increase price just for the sake of it, but continue with their sales volume and the overall cash flows. With that, I think we will see a good economic growth happening all across. So my feeling is, if the hike in the input cost does not go beyond what it is, I think the hike which has already happened in real estate probably would not increase more. But if the hike continues, I think there is inevitable for the real estate prices to go up.
Absolutely. And I think that's something which we need to be cautious about as well. But thank you, Dawal, so much for joining us on the show. Good luck for the kind of trajectory that we're looking at as well, and the growth that we are seeing as well for an Ajmera. Congratulations once again. And we'll speak to you soon again.
Thank you. Thank you, Hiral. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for in-depth interviews of India Inc. and press the bell icon so that you do not miss our updates.